welcome to the Sustainable Retail Summit Expert Series. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Liz Goodwin, the Senior Fellow and Director of Food Loss and Waste at the World Resources Institute. Liz, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
So I'd like to speak with you today about your work at the World Resources Institute, and in particular, your work with Champions 12.3. An international multi-stakeholder partnership that drives collaborative action to reach the Sustainable Development Goal number 12 to reduce food loss globally by 2030. The CGF also drives collaborative action, and in particular, we have our Sustainable Retail Summit, where we bring together lots of different industry partners to really work on these important issues. Why do you think collaborative action is so important to address global challenges like food loss and waste?
Well, sustainability is a very broad term, and within that, the food system is also a very broad term, and it involves lots of players up and down the supply chain. And really, collaboration is going to be very important to find system solutions to some of those problems. I mean, we need to be able to feed a growing population with healthy, nutritious diet, and at the same time, not overexploit the land, not overexploit water resources, and reduce carbon emissions. And it's only going to be by working together that we can actually tackle some of those big questions.
Exactly. And at the CGF, we just launched our Coalition of Action on Food Waste in August, which brings together 14 retailers and manufacturers with the same goal of reducing food loss in their own supply chains. And one of the commitments that these members have made is to scale up Champion 12.3's initiative that's called the 10 by 20 by 30 initiative, which does exactly that and engages suppliers throughout the entire supply chain. Can you tell us a little bit more about that initiative?
Well, the idea behind 10 by 20 by 30 was really that we get 10 big global organizations to work with their top 20 suppliers to halve food waste by 2030. And so that's a great way of getting a snowball going and building momentum, because no longer do you just have 10 organizations working to tackle food waste, but actually you've got probably up to 200. So we're really delighted that the CGF is getting behind the initiative, because the more organizations we can involve and the more supply chains we can affect, then the greater the impact will be.
And Liz, in the same vein of talking about collaborations and partnerships, what is your call to action for the industry concerning sustainability and how we can address sustainability more moving into the future?
Well, industry has a huge part to play. There are already a number of industry leaders who are out there doing stuff, walking the talk and making a big difference. We need more industry leaders to get on this on with the initiative and actually make a real difference. As I said, we need to build a food system that is sustainable. And it's only by industry leading the way that is going to happen. You know, governments have a role to play, but it's actually going to, in the end, be down to industry. And let's also remember that there's a great business case for taking action on food loss and waste. And so it ticks all the boxes. It works from a business perspective, it works from an environmental perspective, as well as from a society perspective.
Right, and all of that is so true. And it's just bringing to mind some research that the CGF did with Champions 12.3 a few years ago that demonstrated concretely what the return of investment is for companies when they address food loss in their supply chains. And I think it's $14 in return for every $1 invested. So addressing a global issue such as food loss is, you know, a task for Champions. So we're really looking forward to continuing to work with the World Resources Institute and Champions 12.3. So Liz, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, bye-bye.